And she's recording and streaming.
Here we go, rock and roll. Well, hello everybody, good evening. My name is Tanya Sheldon. I am a Pro 7 out of Meridian, Idaho. In October, I will have been with LifeVantage for 10 years. Holy moly. So welcome to anyone that's new tonight with us. We're just so happy that you're here, and everyone else that is here tonight and is continuing to plug into this training. I'm just so proud of you for being here and for showing up. It's really important that you do that. We are, those of us that have been a part of this Cardone training now for a little while, we are starting week 9 of our homework. And one of the greatest gifts that I think has been a part of that for us is being able to take what we've learned and then train you and teach it to you. And to do that, we have to go back, right? We have to go back and we have to revisit and we have to go through it again. And that's what I highly recommend that you do as well, because you just find more nuggets, more value when you go back and you do the work again. That's why we show up, right? Sometimes you're going to hear something you've heard before, but it's going to hit you in a different way. And I guarantee when you go back and you look at what we've given you in these last few weeks, it's going to hit you in a different way. So I want to first just do a little overview and a little review and kind of summarize what we've gone over so far. And I'm hoping in the mission of doing that, my intent is to build a big picture for you as to how this is all coming together for you and why it matters and why it's important as we lead up to talking about mentors. Okay, so this program, this 10x Cardone training, it's designed to help you succeed at the highest level possible, personally, professionally, and financially. So who doesn't want that in their life, right? So they introduced in the 10x training the term intrapreneur. It's INTRA. And we didn't talk a lot about that, but I wanted to bring it up because I think it's important. And because most of you, I'm sure, also working a job while you build this business. Am I right? If you are also working a job full time while you build this business, raise your hand. Okay. A lot of people. That's what I thought. So the term intrapreneur, it refers to an employee that is hungry and striving for more within their company, someone wanting to make an impact and find mentors to help them achieve goals. And there's a Gallup poll that states that 66% of employees are not engaged or they're actively disengaged at their job. So this means only 34% are actively engaged. So I'm bringing this up because I know it can become really hard to appreciate your job when you have your hands on this gift of LifeVantage, right? When you see the potential of being an entrepreneur. But sometimes so much so that we stop taking our full-time job as seriously as we should, and we stop striving because we know we have LifeVantage. But what if instead you became the intrapreneur within your full-time job? What if you strive to be that 34% that's actively engaged and seeking inspiration to make the workplace better? And I'm not trying to talk you out of being an entrepreneur, right? But if you strive to do that, because we all know the goal is freedom and it's to be our own boss. But in doing that, think of the impact that you would have as you work to also become an entrepreneur. That kind of action, that can increase your level of influence as you build LifeVantage within your full-time job. And people want to follow leaders. And more, if you are leading well in all areas of your life, it's going to give you more influence, and then you'll have more influence over other people and they'll want to follow you. Too often, people find this and they want a shortcut and they give up on their full-time job and they're not all in and they just want to go all in on LifeVantage. And that makes perfect sense, right? If you can go all in on LifeVantage, but what if you went all in on both areas of your life so that you could be an influence in both areas and bring people with you that much easier because of how you're showing up and how you're performing? So in week 1, we introduced the 3 lids, and this was a reference to John Maxwell and how he says the law of the lid tells us that an individual's lid which is our maximum ability to influence someone else, that's going to determine your potential to influence other people. So the greater the impact you want to make, the greater your influence needs to be. And anyone can be a leader, but it's all about how someone positively influences others, influencing other people to want to achieve at a higher level. And so the three lids we talked about were the belief lid, there's an operational effectiveness lid, and a leadership lid. And then you took an assessment and you ranked yourself, you scored yourself in all of these lids and all of these areas. And I hope you've kept that in a safe place so that you can go back and refer to that. And so right now, over these last 4 weeks, we are talking about the belief lid. That's what we're focusing on right now, is in building your belief. And your belief lid, you guys, that is the extent that you believe something is possible in your life. And the lower your number was, the more you want to raise your belief, right? Because the more you can raise your belief lid, the more you're going to have a bigger impact on your team's potential and, of course, on your own potential. So when you increase your belief lid, you're going to increase your teams right along with you. And one of the most effective ways to raise our belief lid, what do you think it is? It's plugging in. Amy Homewood this past weekend on virtual LVA, she said she didn't want to take shortcuts anymore in her life. And how many of you have tried to take shortcuts with this business, right? You're thinking you can only plug in when you feel like it and that that'll be enough. You're plugging in only when it's convenient and thinking that that'll be enough to raise your belief lid to the level that you want it to be. It's not enough. You can't just plug in when it's convenient. You can't shortcut this along the way. Without your true belief, you're not going to achieve the goals that you have set. You're going to have low energy. You're going to put in minimal thought into things that you really want to accomplish. And if you have a high belief lid, you'll have more energy and you'll put more energy and effort into developing yourself in order to achieve the impact that you want to make, not only for your business, but in the lives of other people. So without significant belief, you won't commit the time or energy to look for the mentors either, or even do this homework, because you simply won't believe that you can accomplish the things you want to accomplish. If you're not looking to plug in and raise that belief lid, it's going to hold you back from finding those mentors that you need to find. And Sean and Michelle were just teaching us this morning on our leadership Zoom how important it is for those going to Cabo to really get outside of the people that you know and plug into the people that you don't know, to the Pro 10s, to Crossline, to the corporate staff, and really getting to know those people, because by doing so and hearing their stories and getting to know them on a personal level, it raises your belief lid, not only in what we have, but also in the company and who's behind it. Okay, so next we talked about visualization. Visualizing is a mental technique that uses our imagination to make our dreams and goals come true. It's visualization and manifestation. They play a key role. It's a real thing. And some of the questions that we were asked was, how do I elevate my belief? What's inhibiting my ability to think and believe bigger than I currently do today? And what resources and tools do I need to embrace in order to help me do this? So I cannot emphasize enough how important that work was, that homework was. There were so many tools that were added to the guide that week to help you with your visualization and manifestation, dream boards, all those things. So make sure you go back to guide 4, that visualization week. And if you didn't look at those again. It's never too late to print those out and make a vision board. Also, the transcripts. The transcripts that we have been printing, most of the review I'm giving you tonight has come from the transcripts. If you printed those transcripts out and you put them all together, you've got a stellar book on your hands that you can review and go back to constantly to help you. So then we talked about goals, right? 1 year, 3 year, and stretch goals. Why do we need goals? They give you long-term vision and they're going to give you short-term motivation. But more importantly, they're going to help bring a bigger purpose to what you're ultimately trying to achieve and the potential impact, again, that you want to create in the lives of others. So if you're not specific or intentional, it's really hard to understand and really believe in what you want to achieve. If you did not take time to really be quiet and rest in those questions that they had and formulate a vision for what you want your life to be like in the 1, 3, and 5 years, you guys, you have to take that time, because if you don't know what you're working for, then what's it all for, right? You're going to fall out that much easier if you don't know why you're doing this. So it's very important. That lack of focus, if we don't have that, it ends up clouding what could otherwise be a really clear picture for us. And again, we know the saying, people don't plan to fail, they simply fail to plan. So take advantage of it. They're giving you the tools necessary to plan. And again, go back, read the transcript for week 3. As Michelle has said, this is not just homework, this is life work. And the goal setting portion, I mean, we could have talked about that for 2 or 3 weeks, to be honest. It's so good for you. But you have a transcript, and then there's a transcript for the SMART goals, how to make each of your goals SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So then we went into mentors. That's where we're at now. And you're working on your belief. You've been identifying your goals that you want to achieve. And now, who are the people that can help you and guide you and offer up advice? You should have identified, in the last bit of homework we had, the top 5 people you spend the most time with, assessing how good or maybe not so good that they may be. And then in accordance with your goals, who are the people and mentors that you should be spending more time with? So we'll be discussing that after this training. So stay on, and we'll talk about that homework that you went through before we had that Axio launch. So I hope that what I just gave you, I hope it was helpful. I hope it brought a good summary to you and a reminder as to, this isn't just work to put in your face, like this all really matters and what the big picture is. So tonight, and leading us into next week's homework, we're going to talk about how to study the people and the mentors that maybe you have chosen, and then make sure that you're aligned with the right mentors. So I'm going to share my screen, and then we will watch this week's video. Everybody can see my screen? All right, all right. Okay, here we go.
Now that you've identified key mentors whose actions align with your goals, let's talk about the process of how to effectively study those mentors. The process of studying a mentor revolves around their intentions, their accomplishments, and in most cases, their unique body of work. This is a critical component when understanding and ensuring that you're fully aligned with the right mentor. Are they demonstrating the actions and behaviors that will contribute to your growth and development? There are multiple ways to study your mentors. This can be achieved through listening to podcasts, reading articles or books, engaging on social media, or watching videos and taking courses. Your mentors should be contributing to their work in one or more of these areas, and it will be up to you to seek out those resources and to study them. You just spent a significant amount of time being extremely intentional with your individual goals using the SMART goal method. You have very specific goals that you want to accomplish. Therefore, you should study specific mentors that complement those goals. With this in mind, you can go through their body of work as if you're mining for gold. As an example, one of the most relatable types of mentors is an author. With an author, you're able to easily gain access to their body of work simply by immersing yourself within their writing. You can read their books, listen to audio versions, find podcasts about their content topics, read articles or blog posts, watch videos on YouTube. The list goes on and on. The message here is that you shouldn't limit yourself to one perspective, one book, so to speak. Their work could be displayed across many forms of media, many channels, and many people. This provides you with the full spectrum of how their work is being consumed and applied. You might also find with that author that you're less excited about their book and more excited about a particular topic or concept they embrace. From here, You can begin seeking other individuals who are putting out similar work on that concept. And you can begin to compare and contrast the perspectives, utilizing the findings for your own development. Cast a wide net and find mentors who are specialists or experts on the subject matter that's most applicable to your goals. This should give you confidence because you'll be exposed to the exact ways your goals are already being achieved. One of the easiest ways to study mentors is through social media. As you dive deeper into this process, you should be immersing yourself in social media, following your mentors on every platform. Listen to their messages. Watch how they interact with their audiences. Observe who follows and engages with each of them. Remember that you want to surround yourself with people who have high levels of belief in what's possible. This means being extremely intentional with what you're viewing on social media. It is just as important as who you're physically surrounding yourself with. Don't waste your time on the clutter. Limit yourself and stop caring about what's going on with television shows, drama amongst family or friends, and other distractions that can deter you from focusing on your goals. Remember, you will become like the 5 people that you spend the majority of your time with. Be purposeful about the people you're listening to and being developed by. Be cautious about who you give your mind share to. The way you think will be critically important for determining whether or not you accomplish your goals. Having conversations that don't add value to your overall goal attainment should be a trigger to stop, reset, and seek out your mentor's work so you can reframe their imprint on your mind. There's a lot of noise in the world, and a lot of people will pull you off of center. Know that you are the only person who can keep yourself centered and balanced. Stay critically focused and intentional on your purpose of achieving and attaining your goals. Spend your valuable time studying mentors who contribute to your success and focus on the elements necessary to help you continue your journey to becoming a 10X employee.
In the last activity, you learned how to find mentors who embody your personal, professional, and financial goals. For this activity, we'll be creating a process for studying each of your top mentors. Take the time to do the research on the mentors you identified in the last activity. Make a list. What books have they written? What podcasts do they host? What social media accounts are they most prevalent and influential with? To create awareness and understanding of their depth of content relative to your goals, develop a plan for studying those specific mentors in each of these areas for 30 minutes a day. This will be your intentional resource list going forward. Construct this list for each mentor you've identified and refresh the content focus on a regular basis.
Good stuff. Yeah. Okay. So one thing that I really loved about that, you guys, or one thing I wanted to share with you, every Wednesday, those of us that are in this Cardone training with the pose, we get to partake in a 30-minute kind of like a motivational Zoom every week. And the people that lead that are 10X employees. And one of the things I noticed very quickly was their vocabulary. They use big words. And most of the time, I don't know what the stuff means, but they all do it. And you know why they all do it? Because they're all surrounded by one another. They're like super intelligent. And so they have this driving force of all learning from one another constantly. They're consumed with the things that they're not consumed with the things that don't move them forward. They're consumed with anything that will move them forward. And then that gives them the ammunition and the ability to train and teach us in the way that they do, and also handle like questions we have like the back of their hand. And that's the thing is many times when I tap into some of the people that I have realized are my mentors, a lot of them don't know they're my mentors. But what I find is a lot of times I don't always listen with an ear for myself. I listen with an ear of what can I teach to my team? What can I pay forward and make sure that they learn right along with me? What is it something that I can learn and I can teach on social media to attract the people that I want to attract? So when we talk about raising our belief lid, that this plays a part in that. By believing bigger and finding the right mentors, that becomes a huge part of that. If you find the right mentors and then you plug into what they're giving you, that becomes a big part of you raising those lids that you want to have to become that effective leader and have an influence on other people. I'll give one more example and then we'll go through announcements and then we'll start our discussion. But I went to an elite academy once and there was an elite distributor that I watched from afar for a long time, and I was super intimidated by her. And she just exuded joy, and I knew she really had a love for Jesus. And I just loved what she exuded, and I wanted to know her. So I went up to the front one time, and she ended up sitting right behind me. And you know those moments where you really want to say something to someone, but you're afraid. And so fear gets the best of you and you decide you don't want to because you've convinced yourself that I'll probably bother them, or they don't want to hear from me, or they won't remember me, or maybe they don't want to take the time for me. You don't know that. It's a story. Stop. So I scooted my chair back and I put my elbow on the table and I said, I want to know you. And I introduced myself. And now she's one of my dearest friends. And she is someone that I can call and I know will pray for me at the drop of a hat. She will keep me grounded. She will give me marriage advice, things like that. So look for those kind of people. But when you find them, the most important part is having the courage to ask them or just show yourself that you want to be their friend, right? How valued would you feel if somebody came up to you and said, I want to know you. I just want to be your friend. You would feel so valued. You would feel so complimented by that. So don't hold back from those things because we have such a gift here in being network marketers that there are mentors all around us. There's a vast array of mentors right within LifeVantage. That is such a gift. You just have to be courageous enough to introduce yourself and show up and say hello. Okay. All right. So I'll go back to screen sharing. We'll do announcements and then we'll get to some nitty gritty. Okay. So this week's trainings, we all know Tuesday night, this will be a good one. Angie Harper, an Elite Pro 8. She is full of energy. She is a go-getter. I would say she's kind of like well, I'm not going to say it because I don't think so. Anyway, great energy and very super successful. So this would be a great one to plug your prospects into. Thursday night, what a week, right? Amy Homewood, Thursday night. This will be heavy business focus. She is a survivor of Lyme's. She was very, very successful. She did not need the money, but she saw the opportunity. And she said this weekend on the virtual EA, she said an ant could have pressed play on the ABC report and I would have signed up. Don't we all want more Amy Homewoods in our life? So get people plugged into that as well. LVA next month. These are the cities that it will be live in. It is always the third weekend of the month. Always, always. That never changes. So it should be something that you ink into your calendar and something that you can never say, oh, I didn't know. It's always the third weekend. And if you cannot travel live, but we know a lot of people traveled for hours. Some people got up at 3:30 in the morning to go to LVAs and feel that in-person connection. Nothing beats that. There is a virtual that you can plug into, and then you have access for a month, I believe, to watch the playback. Global Convention is not sold out yet. They said this weekend, I think there's about 700 tickets left. When they're gonzo. And fortunate for us, that ticket price will not go up. Usually it goes up to $199, sometimes over that. It's going to stay at $179. So make sure you get your ticket. This is going to be a very, very special global convention, and corporate will make sure of it because we finally get to be all together again. And then we want to make sure and remind you, we do have a Facebook Messenger group, a 5 for 500 group, and there are lots of really great tips and takeaways that are shared in there. We also have constant updates every day of where everyone's at, who's made Performance Club, who's getting into the pool, and that is always the goal, to get a share in the pool. And we also have been sharing tips on how we're sharing the Axio sampling program. A big shout out again to Wendy Tomlinson. She has sold 10. I've sold 9. I tried to beat that girl. I really super tried to beat Wendy. I have done 9 and it's been super fun. And my approach has just been the personal voice messages, letting them know with all sincerity, all energy, like you can finally get your hand on our samples. It's only $20, $21.20 with tax. You get 5 decaf, 5 caffeinated. This is one of my favorite things. You get our favorite flavors. And I'm batting over 50% with this, people wanting it, because like Tara said, a $20 bill is something that's a little easier for people to toss out. And it finally gives people the chance to really try this amazing Axio and put it in their hands. So if you're not capitalizing on this, you guys, you have to do so. Make sure, if nothing else, that you go to your back office and you go down and you make sure every single one of your customers knows that this is available to them. And what's been really fun is the people that are customers that are already on Nerve 2, just upgrading to that activated energy stack and not even getting the samples. So that's been fun. Okay, let me stop my share. Okay, 4 minutes left. That's okay. So I hope that was helpful tonight. Please continue to do the homework and we will go right into discussion unless Sean and Michelle, you guys have anything else? Did I miss anything in the comments at all? Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm so excited. Seth, because of you, like you raised the bar last week or 2 weeks ago, like you did such a phenomenal job. You were like a hashtag Seth. Everybody was so impressed by the way that you handled after the call. So congratulations again. It was so, so good. And this week I am doing the same, taking the reins like Amy did. And I have asked 2 people on my team that I love and adore. They always show up. They're working so hard. And I know that they've been turning in their homework and doing this. This is stepping outside their comfort zone, but it was so cute when I text them. They're like, well, we know we can't say no. And I'm like, okay, so it's a yes. So you'll do it. So we have Crystal Sale. She is out of Florida. And then we have Jen Pensinger out of Meridian, Idaho. And they together are going to lead our discussion going over our homework that we talked about 2 weeks ago. About how to find your mentors. So Crystal and Jen, if you guys want to unmute, I'll let you guys take it over.
Okay. I think we decided I'm gonna kick it off. I'm Crystal Sale. I am a Pro 2 in Orlando, Florida. I've been with the company, I feel like forever, like 6 years, but I just kind of reactivated, so I'm just getting back into it. But I wanted to do a recap just because it's been a bit. Tanya did an excellent job, so I don't know much what I have to say, but basically what I took is that you can achieve your goals on your own, but how much better and faster can you do that if you have somebody that you can model after, you know, and it's like you can fail forward, which you're going to do, right? You're going to fail forward anyway. But if you have a mentor, you know, maybe you won't fail quite as much because they've already done the things and you can kind of learn already from what they've done. And so you can just exponentially like get it faster. A mentor is anyone, whether you know them or not, that inspires you, demonstrates intentionality, and has done what you want to do. So whether you know them or you're just following them on social media, whatever the case is, that's a mentor. So the homework was to identify 5 people that you spend the most time with, and whether they're, you know, a positive or a negative influence, and then to find a mentor for each one of your goals. So your personal, professional, or financial goals. So what I want you guys to drop a 1 in the comments if this was just like super, super easy for you. Sorry, I'm just seeing you can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? Okay, All right. So drop a one in the comments if this was like so easy, like you have all your mentors, you are like ready to go. Or like a two if you thought this was maybe a bit harder, that you're, maybe you're still looking for a few of your mentors. So I'm seeing some ones. Awesome. So for me, yeah, too, right? I struggled a little bit too. So for me, the homework kind of made me like open my eyes and like really take a look at who I'm spending my time with, and a hard look at like maybe I'm not, spending as much time with people that are elevating me as I probably should be, at least in my personal life, right? Like LifeVantage, we are so blessed. Like Tanya said, like how can we get any better? And really, if you reach out to anybody in LifeVantage, I'm pretty sure they'd help you. So like seriously blessed. But what I wanted to ask you guys is, did anyone else have any like realizations or any insight from doing the homework that they reached? Like, and what was it? So anybody want to pop in?
Ooh, I'll go.
Yeah, go for it.
So on my list of people, my top 5 people that I spend the most time with, when I was just initially doing it, I could only put my husband and my father on there because I'm that introverted. I'm like an introverted extrovert or something. It's really very odd. And so I don't have all these people that I'm just like on the phone with constantly. I'm not out and about dealing with people. Even on social media, I have people that, friend me and whatever, but we're not really associated in any shape, form, or fashion. And so what I understand about both of them is that they can be very focused and, able to reach the goals that they have. But because I spend so much time with the both of them, my mindset reflects the things that both of them have taught me over the years. I've been with my husband since I was 18 years old. And so since there is a level that I'm trying to get to that neither one of them have seen yet, it becomes very challenging sometimes to kind of break outside of, like I said, just what I've been taught and what I've been used to, even though I've seen, quite a bit. So that was super eye-opening. I need to get to know more people. I need to come out of my own shell, even though I think I'm kind of out of it, but clearly I'm not. And so that was what I learned.
That's awesome. I am with you. That is me too. Yep. Anybody else?
I have one.
Sorry, you first.
Okay, so I'm Michelle, and so I did my homework this week all the way from week 1, so I'm caught up. But on my personal goals, I realized I've never had mentors in my personal life. I always have had business mentors. And so I actually reached out to a couple people and asked them if they'd be my mentor. And one of them is Dr. Melody Rodarte, right? Because she's helping me with my weight loss, and I've lost 12 pounds. Woohoo! No, I've rid 12 pounds. Let's be clear. And then the other one was my financial goals. And this homework helped me realize that I'm a business operator, not a business owner. And I used to be a business owner. And so it got my mind working like I can still own a business and tap into that income share and build LifeVantage. It's not an either or situation. And so this helped me go, okay, well, I need a broker. I need a financial analyst. I need a business like a Nicole Walters that can help me with being the business owner, not the business operator. And I was like, oh, so I reached out to some of those people this weekend. And so I'm just missing 2 mentors, two obvious holes in my life. And I'm like, so I'm just going to ask if anyone knows a fitness mentor that I could learn from. It needs to be a woman over 50 that I could tap into, and then a business broker. And that's because when I hit Pro 5, I'm going to just move into doing LifeVantage full time. So I've set the goal, set the date, and those are the 2 holes that I have. So I was like, once I have those in plan, then I can work on what's next. So.
All right. Awesome. That was incredible.
And none of my
It's
clients
really
will be
incredible.
afraid because I'll never leave you. So
One phenomena that I recognized was getting laser specific with the goals. There was a foundation to work off of, and it really got me thinking, okay, what does go under the personal and professional goals? Who are my mentors in these areas? So it's a lengthy process. It's a lengthy process just because right now I'm thinking at that level of awareness. So it's going to take me some time, but granted, it's amazing. Just really, really amazing. So I'm going to finish up, get caught up on the homework, and can't wait for the rest of it to happen.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to shoot it over to Jen, and she's going to take over for a minute.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. Can everybody hear me? I always feel like I'm too loud, so I don't want to be screaming at you, but same thing. I was in the same boat. I would have put a 2 in the chat because especially when Tanya texted, I was like, I don't want to say no, but I also don't want to say yes. It was so then I like wrote down a whole bunch of scribbled notes and then I was like re-editing. I was like, oh my goodness. So it definitely each week has definitely stretched me and been so incredibly eye-opening. And just like, I forget who just said it, but being laser focused on specific goals. Like, we kind of have like a broad sense and I felt like I was kind of zeroed in, and this was very eye-opening that I was not completely zeroed in, especially on personal goals. And that was where I was missing some mentors and stuff like that. So I would say one question that I want to throw out to everyone, who is maybe 1 or 2 mentors that you did write down that you could share, that maybe somebody that is still looking for a mentor could then latch on also to, whether you know them or you're following them? Like, who is it that gets you excited? Maybe put that in the chat, or if somebody has someone written down that they want to share. Come on, people, don't be shy.
Sure.
Somebody
I'll
jump
share.
in. Okay, awesome.
So one would be Deb Erickson for sure, because she's such a mindset coach. And I think that the biggest hurdle for a lot of people, because we have so many incredible influencers and business people in our business, in the LifeVantage family that we can reach out to. But I think some of the things that stop us personally are, between our own 2 ears. And you have to get to the root of what is stopping you neurologically. What are those hurdles that could be there from childhood and you don't even realize it. So I think Deb Erickson is a huge mentor for me, and I'll just share that she's helping a lot.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody else have someone that they love, that they're following, or that is a personal mentor?
Hello?
Yes. Hi.
Well, this may be like a slap upside the obvious, but every time I feel like I'm about to just throw in the towel, if I find myself in the car and I pop Jim Rohn on, I swear by the end of whatever drive I'm taking, I'm ready to take on the world. You talk about a mindset shift. I can be having the crappiest day, and by the time I'm done, it's like all I can hear in my head is that voice of his going, "Of course." It's like, and it's just like, you know what? I don't care what just happened. I'm ready to go, and whatever is blocking me is no longer there. So I mean, he's one, and then like I say, it's obvious, but him and John Maxwell. I mean, my God, if I had only 2 people to listen to, and I could find a way to feed them into my veins, I would do that. They both, I find them uplifting, educating, motivating, all the things that are that I need to build up on the inside to do this and break through on the outside. I get from both of them. So anyway, those are the 2 that I have been, like I said, feasting on.
That was awesome. Jim Rohn I have listened to him since childhood. My dad used to play him on cassette tapes and car rides. So that, of course, that has always been like ingrained. So that is awesome.
I wish I'd have known about stuff like that years ago. Because I'm 60 years old and I'm finally finding out that there are people like that out there. It's like, man.
Well, I will say I'm 40, but when I was younger, I used to dread hearing my dad pop in that tape and listen to it over and over and over. Like I was so over all of it. And now I'm like, oh, I really wish I would have applied these so much sooner in my life, because where would I be? Who knows? So thank you. I'm on my phone too. So does anybody else feel free to jump in? Does anyone else?
I got one.
Yes, please share.
So one of the most I've been impacted by this person in so many different ways, but extremely thankful for she's an Emmy Award winning Good Morning America co-anchor. Her name is Robin Roberts. And she recently delivered some information on Masterclass about authenticity and speaking from authenticity, really building from that point. And you get to that point when you are just most aligned. A lot of what we're going through here sets people that were a bit wonky with life, that's all of us, just finally getting in line with what is going to make us better. And she's an incredible speaker, like honest, so much insight, so much value, and just super thankful for this person because it's also somebody using this journey.
That's awesome.
And
Thank you
Jen,
for sharing.
I have a couple more too. So Joel
Yeah.
Osteen is one of mine because I love how he talks about using affirming words. And Tony Robbins, of course, because I love his energy and it's addictive. And Joyce Myers, again, because she teaches you the wording to use for mindset. Eric Worre, because he started from nothing and he's awesome. And then Jamie Kern Lima is the other one because it's about self-image. So those are some of my people.
That's awesome. Thank you. Like, hopefully people are putting these in the chat so we can go back and write them all down so that way we can keep track. Anybody else have something that they want to share, a mentor or
Yeah, Jen.
Yes.
This is Isa. Hi. I love Brene Brown because she is all about authenticity and vulnerability. Amazing TED Talks, because for me, I don't find that I can show up here in this business or in any business really, unless I feel like I'm being authentic and true to who I am. And that I've struggled with, and being vulnerable publicly is often a struggle for me. So she's a great mentor of mine. Sarah Blakely is a great mentor, somebody who just had no excuses, not in the network marketing field, but somebody who just had absolutely no excuses. And I love her. And then, of course, other people that everyone's mentioning, Eric Worre, Tony Robbins. I also love Lewis Howes, the School of Greatness. I love his, it's not necessarily him, but it's the people that he puts in front of us, where you can hear all these other people's stories. They're great. But, I think it's important, like your mentor they can shift. And for me, in doing this exercise from masculine to feminine, and I know right now I'm in a season in my life where I am embracing being feminine. I am a feminine female. I've got a very strong why. I'm a tiny person. So I'm putting all these pieces together. And right now it's the females that I'm really looking at. Carrie Dickey's another one of them. I love the way that woman just uses her voice. There is nothing about her swallowing her words. And so, and that shifts for me. It goes in and out with other male mentors. So I think it's a beautiful thing. I love that Seth asked if we have to know them, because no, that's the beauty of this, is we don't. But make sure that your social media feed, or whatever you're looking at in your spare time, represents who you are in alignment with and who you're seeking to learn from, so that you feel that you're getting that value add as well.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else? These are all so good. I'm like getting chills and I want to take notes on all the different people that have been suggested. So awesome.
Then I have another observation that came up for me is like, my life is surrounded by amazing people. I don't always have to look outward. They're like right here. So it's like, ask for what you need, Michelle. So like the pose, I mean, they're the best mentors we could have. Thank you, Pose.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that goes without saying that the posts like are at the top of our list. Everyone on here. I don't think
Westerly.
everyone's-
Can I add on that? And Michelle and Jen, Michelle and Sean Poe are like the ultimate yin and yang, masculine, feminine. Like, I mean, just, it's so amazing that we have this team leading us and providing us just with this leadership and just value and seeing how people live in relationships and love and parenthood and business and thrive. So thank you for that.
I just want to speak real quick to sometimes if you don't have the yin and the yang in your home, or you don't have someone that's in alignment with where you're going and what you're listening to and the mentors that you're finding, don't let that dissuade you, right? Like, stay plugged in to what is feeding you and what makes you better, but don't push it on the other person in your home and make them believe they have to do the same thing. It can be like sometimes a light text, like, I think this would be good for you to listen to, and then let it go. And if they listen to it, great. If they don't, they don't. And what I find is if they've listened to it, they're going to bring it up in conversation, right? But it's not up to us to control what they choose to plug into. You can only control yourself, right? And just let them see through your growth and through your attitude and your positivity and the way that you're acting different. Just inspire them by what you're choosing to listen to, but don't inflict it on them purposefully, because then it can be really hard. Then you find that that person that maybe is one of your top 5 that you're always around may become a negative. And we don't want that when we're building this, because that can make it hard. You're muted, Jen. I still can't hear you.
It's because I muted myself. I don't know why or how. Thank you for sharing that, because that is so important, especially when one person is growing or just starting in this business, and then you have that other, your spouse or whoever is closest to you, your significant other, that maybe hasn't joined you just yet. So that is awesome advice. Does anybody else have any takeaways or tips that they have gotten out of just what we've heard right now? Or maybe there's been a mentor that we haven't talked about. I mean, obviously we're so grateful and thankful for our POs. I think that goes without saying. They are awesome. Anybody?
I can share. So it's funny, when I was doing the mentor homework, I thought it had to be somebody that I personally knew. And so it was so hard for me to figure out, mentors in my life. And honestly, for me, like, the whole idea of mentorship hasn't really been a thing in my life. And so the homework was really hard for me. And then I'm sitting here tonight, and I don't know, I think somebody said something, but something clicked for me, like, I don't think a mentor has to be somebody that I personally know. And then I asked the question, and it's like, yeah, it doesn't have to be somebody you personally know. And then instantly I thought of Bob Helig. That guy, every time I listen to him, he's just amazing. And I can't remember, it was Dirk, you were saying, whenever you listen to Jim Rohn, you're so fired up and pumped up and ready to go. And I feel the same way with Bob. I don't think anybody's mentioned him yet. So if you haven't listened to him, you should, because he's very, very good, especially with network marketing.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else?
Can I piggyback on that? I'm sorry, I
Yes,
don't have
please.
video. I've been in and out all night.
Yeah,
Thank
please.
you. You guys have rocked the call tonight. It has been great. And I just want to piggyback on what Seth said, because all week, I was thinking, like, who do I surround myself with? Who are the people I spend time with? And kind of like Achilles said too, I'm an introvert. I homeschool. I'm home with my kids. And so I'm like, my 9-year-old, but the reality is, as I was thinking in that realm, I mean, my kids do inspire me. They intrigue me, their curiosity. there were so many ways I was twisting it to be like, okay, how could my 9-year-olds be my mentors for doing this? So I guess I have two messages. One, I have to go back and rethink now that I know it doesn't have to be someone that I'm physically spending time with, like in my day or in my week, but social media and reaching out, that is just a whole new world out there. But also just maybe to plant that seed for everyone of just being creative with who is in your house that you are spending time with, how to get inspiration from them, and how to, again, they're my why. So how to have them be my mentors going forward.
I love that. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? We have a few minutes. Anyone else?
It came up this week for me. I
Yes.
was actually surprised that I had 3 people reach out to me and ask me to be their mentor. And I was like, oh, really?
I'm not surprised.
I was, because I was like, I don't, I haven't done anything here. I don't have anything to give, but I was like, but that's not the truth. And so, even that side of it was a blessing for me to go, stop talking those voices, and so I think it's good to have both sides of the equation. So thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Can I throw a thought out there too?
Yes, please do.
Okay, this is just a thought. It's not like a, hey, here's a mentor. Don't look to find perfect mentors. I mean, even Jim Rohn, Maxwell, all of the, and I listened to Bob Healy, Jordan Adler. I've been watching all these names going by, and they're all remarkable. And I could probably find something or a lot of somethings with each one of them that doesn't work for me, that I don't like what they say or do or what. So you don't discard them though, because they've each got so much to offer in some particular area for you. So don't go looking for somebody that's perfect, that everything that they say or do is just exactly in line with your beliefs. And the first time you hear something that isn't there, you're like, oh my God, you discard them. Don't do that. They're human just like we are. They're we're holding them up as mentors, but you've got to remember that they're just like us. They're a whole lot better at some of the things than we are at some of the things that they do. And it was interesting because, I'd listen to, like, say, Jim Rohn, who I damn near idolize, but then some stuff would come out of his mouth and I'd be like, oh, for God's sakes. And it's like, well, do I dump him? No, of course not. There's so much that I can learn from him. I mean, it's like, hell, if we acted like that, Amy would have dumped me 30 years ago. So anyhow, it was just a thought. I just, because we talk about these people as if, a mentor is going to be perfect, and they're not. They won't even, we were talking about how sometimes, Tanya mentioned something really resonates with you and you're like, you really want to share it with your significant other. And Amy and I do that all the time. And it's like, the stuff that she's focused on is not the stuff that I'm focused on. Mm-hmm. And if I tried to push my stuff on her, all that would do was create friction. And it's kind of the same way even between me and my mentors. And you've got to recognize that there are going to be areas in there that don't really work for you. So, and it's just me starting to ramble. Anyway, I'm going to mute myself. Bye.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay. We have just a couple more minutes. Crystal, do you have anything else that you want to throw in there? Is there anybody else that maybe I've missed that has had a hand up? I can't see. I'm sorry. I'm on my phone, so I'm trying to flip back and forth. So that's probably how I muted myself. Does anyone have a final thought? Or Crystal, do you want to take it away? I think hopefully I got a ton of value. I hope you guys did too.
Yeah, I think that was really helpful. I think like everybody said, it's the personal stuff I think has been the hardest. I think a lot of us are finding that the personal stuff has come a little bit harder, and finding mentors in those areas. It's definitely going to be a process, I think, of, finding one and then being like, well, maybe they're not the right fit for me. So I'm, and just looking and taking your time and just finding somebody. But yeah.
Can I add one thing to what you just said?
Yeah.
Oh, that was loud. I don't know what happened. I was just going to say sometimes different seasons in our life will require different mentors. You'll have a mentor to get you to one point, and then to get to that next, level that you want to go to. Sometimes you're not discarding them, but maybe you are adding to your mentor group, or that you're able to then leap to that next level that you want to get to. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to stick with the same one, you know, your entire career or your entire, you know, wherever you're wanting to get to. Is that mentor still helping you grow is also important. So I'll mute myself now.
No, that's great, Jen. Can I add something, Crystal?
Yeah,
I think a lot of people get caught up in like, does my mentor need to be someone way more successful than me, measured on whatever you're thinking, whether it's what rank you are or what kind of money you're making or whatnot. But I don't believe that to be the case. As long as we are learning from people, of course, we should have mentors that have achieved, I think, a certain level of success where we want to be, but also people that haven't, that have all of the qualifications to do that, and all of the behaviors. You know, we can see their excitement. I know we had Achilles' new distributor, Jennifer, on the Carrie Dickey call this morning, and this woman was in tears just about how excited she is. And I think that's a mentor moment for me of like, remember how we all felt when we saw this and we knew that we wanted to do this and be on a Monday night call and be a part of a team. So I think that's really important as well to remember.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. I think everybody's had some really awesome insight and input, and I don't know what else to add.
Crystal and Jen, all the emojis, you did so good. I'm so proud of you for stepping up. I just encourage you guys week by week for this after the training discussion, to just put yourself out there and step up to lead it and come up with some questions. And I just think everybody's finding such great value in this. So I'm proud of you guys for saying yes. I'm proud of you guys all for doing the homework. I think you'll find this next week to be super fun as well, because it's really going to challenge you and encourage you to not only find those mentors, but maybe reach out to them and let them know how they've impacted your life, whether in just a small way so far, maybe in a very big way. But we'll be posting that very shortly. Sometimes there's glitches, but look for it. It will be there. Just be patient with that. And that's a wrap for this week, you guys. Thanks for being here. We love you all and have a wonderful week. Mwah. 10X. Woo, woo.
10X. Thank you. Great job, ladies.
Bye, everybody.
Amazing, Jen.